this was a sample that was provided to us by a prospective customer, and he challenged us to find all 8 components that were present within this mixture, and we were successful with that. So to show you how I went about doing that, so I'm just going to minimize that table. Due to the complexity of this mixture, I decided to break it up into parts during my analysis. So I usually start from a simplified region, which tends to be the aromatic region, where I've got fully resolved signals. And then I'm going to query the appropriate databases. So I actually have 3 different databases, and these were provided by the prospective customer. And I'm going to search all 3 simultaneously. And much like before, I've got my table of search results. And right away, you see this first hit is a likely candidate. So I can adjust the horizontal offset by clicking and dragging. I could also adjust the offset within here, whichever you're more comfortable with working. I can scroll the mouse to try to minimize the residual curve, and then I can adjust both the offset as well as the individual scaling within here just by clicking the fine tuning to make it a little less drastic. So at this point, I think I'm satisfied with this region, but again, I got to make sure that I check that there aren't any other extra peaks. And it looks to me like all of these peaks would match up. So I'm happy with this hit. I'm going to go and do a zoom undo. And then I'm just going to move on to another region. So now I'm going to search this region. And what I have to do is just click this button right here, search new region. So you'll see much like it did before, my original spectrum is highlighted in gray above. I've got my query here. So I'm going to just zoom in on my region here, and you see, again, this is likely a component that's present. Ignore this as that's a solvent peak. I can click and quickly drag to adjust my offset, try to minimize my residual curve, and then zoom out accordingly to see if in fact everything does line up. And outside of this tiny little broad peak, this does look like a real component that is present. So I would go ahead and select this. And then I would pick a new region once again, and then click Search New Region. So I would do this sequentially, step by step, trying to identify all of the components that are fully resolved. And then what I found with this particular sample is after I identified all of the resolved signals, the complex overlapping aliphatic region actually took care of itself. So after I had done that workflow, I quickly am able to generate a series. And again, what's awesome about our software is this color coding and keeping track of what signals come from which part when it comes to our query spectrum. And all this is kept in tables for you, and that can be exported to help you do any sort of quantitation or additional analyses you wish to do.